Hello all. Today the discussion will be about a case based discussion on the INICET model, and this kind of discussion and questions and practice are also very important for both the institute exams as well as the NEET exams, since the NEET is also going to be based on clinical scenario type. Going on into the discussion, the discussion is about a 32-year-old woman who comes to the OPD with fatigue and EC bruising for the last 3 years, and you're ordering a CBC, and you come to know that the hemoglobin is 9, hematocrit is 27%, WBC is 1.5 lakh, platelet is 7,000, and the patient is not having any bleeding episode for the past 1 week, but she's telling that she's feeling weak throughout the day, and your hematologist says that we have to perform a bone marrow biopsy and aspiration, and you are in a decision to proceed now. And which among the following option would you choose to go on further? Option A is to postpone the procedure and transfuse 1 unit of packed RBC since the hemoglobin is 9. Option B is to proceed with the procedure as it is only a very short procedure. And option C is to transfuse 1 unit platelet pheresis platelet. And option D is to transfuse 1 unit of random donor platelet only and go on with bone marrow biopsy and aspiration. And your answer would be option C, that is to transfuse 1 unit of platelet pheresis platelet. Coming on into the detailed discussion of the options, from the CBC you can clearly tell that it is a kind of leukemic picture, and you have to do the bone marrow biopsy to come to a confirmatory diagnosis and to start the treatment of the patient. And this bone marrow biopsy procedure is having risk of bleeding from the site of biopsy. Option A says that you have to postpone the procedure and you have to transfuse 1 unit of PRBC. But the patient is having hemoglobin of 9, which is almost common in Indian population, and the fatigue nature of the patient and the low hemoglobin need not be only due to the anemia status, but maybe due to the underlying leukemia status. In that case, even if you transfuse 1 unit of PRBC, it is not necessary that the hemoglobin should improve, because in leukemia patients there is higher risk of hemolysis by the transfused unit, and so that hemolysis will lead to even more destruction of the hemoglobin inside the body and may also reduce the 9 hemoglobin which is already present in the patient. Also, a hemoglobin of 9 gram is not a contraindication for bone marrow biopsy, so it is not a correct answer. Coming upon to the option B, it says that it is a very short procedure and so you can proceed with the procedure. But although it is a short procedure, it has risk of bleeding and the platelet count of the patient was 7,000. And you have this 7,000 platelet count is what you have to have in your mind, because the platelet count should be at least 20,000 before any invasive procedure like bone marrow biopsy. The ASCO guideline says some criteria for platelet transfusion, like 10,000. It is a safe threshold for any stable patient without any risk of bleeding, without any symptoms, nothing. And less than or equal to 20,000 should, if that is there in the patient, that is if the patient's count is less than or equal to 20,000, and if the patient is having fever, or if it is a newborn, or if they have to undergo any invasive procedure like in our case of bone marrow biopsy, then you have to think of platelet transfusion. And in case of general surgery, general elective surgery, tooth extraction, endoscopic biopsy and lumbar puncture, you should have at least a count of less than or, if the platelet count is less than or equal to 50,000, then you have to transfuse platelets. And in case of any major cardiovascular, neuro or ophthalmic surgery, or in case of any massive transfusion where you suspect more bleeding and lesser tendency of clotting, then you should maintain a count of 1 lakh. If it is less than that, then you have to think of platelet transfusion. So in this case, it is the B option is telling that we have to proceed with the procedure, which is a wrong option. And coming upon to the C and D option, those two options were saying about platelet pheresis platelet and random donor platelet. First, we have to know what is this term platelet pheresis platelet. And Let us now the usual platelet which we are using or which we have seen in our internship is actually random donor platelet. That is, we collect the whole blood from a donor, and then we centrifuge it to prepare PRBC, plasma and platelet. This one bag of platelet from one donor is what we call as random donor platelet, and 1 unit of such platelet would increase the count of the patient by 5,000 to 10,000 according to the count of that donor who is donating. But this platelet pheresis platelet is something which is collected by apheresis machine. This machine is which collects only the desired product from the donor. Like if you want only platelet, you can collect only platelet from the donor, or if you want only PRBC, you can collect only PRBC from the donor. And you can say like, why we have to do such a thing? Because the yield is more good, and the procedure is also very safe in place of both donor and the patient part. And this one bag of platelet pheresis platelet, or what you call single donor platelet, will increase the rise by 30,000 to 60,000. So you can compare it. 1 unit of RDP rises by 5,000 to 10,000, and 1 unit of SDP, it rises by 30,000 to 60,000. So if you give 1 unit of platelet pheresis platelet for this patient, it will increase very good amount of platelet count, and the patient would be eligible for doing the bone marrow biopsy, and also you need not worry about the risk of bleeding. And the RDP, or that conventional platelet, is what they are using mostly in all the hospitals, but if there is option of platelet pheresis platelet among your option, you have to choose that as it is the best option. Also, there is an extra advantage for SDP, which we'll be seeing here. Like as I said, how it will show difference in increasing the platelet count. The volume is also, like RDP is only 50 to 60 ml, and SDP would come around 200 ml, but you can safely transfuse since this is only a plasma. And the leukocyte, that is WBC, which is responsible for causing reactions or the allergic reactions in the donor, is also little lower in SDP than compared to the RDP. And there are only very less amount of RBCs present in SDP comparatively. And the patient exposure, since this is a leukemia patient, he will have the he would have to undergo lots of transfusions. So in that way he will be exposed to lots of RBCs and platelets and plasma and everything. So he has a more risk of exposure to many donors, which may or may not cause so many risks, like alloimmunization, or in case of any transmission of some transfusion transmitted infections, maybe which were unidentified during their window period. So lots of risk are there. So that will be reduced in case of single donor platelet. And the exposure to infection is also less, and less risk of alloimmunization, bacterial contamination is less. But the only thing that makes us worry is the cost. The SDP is little costlier than the RDP, and the cost depends upon the company which whose kit which we are using for the procedure. So thus we can say that the best option among all the options given was option C, that is to transfuse 1 unit of platelet pheresis platelet. That's all for this discussion, and meet you all in the next discussion. Thank you. All the best.